From here on, this is going to be Megaton Lab in TGS 2021. I'm your MC tonight. My name is Yoshiyuki Hirai, and I am American Zarigani, or Crayfish. That's my entertainer name. And this time in this program, we'll be discussing Level 5's cross-media title. It's going to be a 50-minute program. And the Megaton Musashi, what is it? So the Earth, the story takes place on an Earth that has been invaded by aliens called Tractor. The story is about a giant robot called Rogue that is trying to take back the Earth. So in the first half of the program, we're going to be having gorgeous cast members talk about the TV anime Megaton Musashi. And throughout the second half of the program, we'll have a video introducing the game system, including customization and battle systems. You won't be able to take your eyes off until the end of the show. So let us start the first corner. Megaton Musashi special making. So I'm talking alone and the staff is applauding. After today's program, starting 10 o'clock in the PM, there's going to be a TV anime, Megaton Anime Musashi, which will start airing on Tokyo MX from 10 p.m. Akihiro Hino, the program director, and the cast members of the main characters are going to be talking about the charm of the TV anime. So after this program, you should definitely go to the other program in order to focus on the charm of Megaton Anime and Megaton Musashi. So let us go and start without ado. This is going to be along with the actors, voice actors, to think about the charm of Megaton Musashi. This is going to be the level 5 provided robot anime program. The air takes place where the Earth is invaded by the aliens. The human beings living still in the Earth is now living in a shelter called Ixta, and they don't know that they're living in a falls area. But then the only handful of selected people are now starting to fight in order to regain the Earth as a pilot of the robot. So with the main cast and the program personnel, Mr. Hino, we're going to be talking about the charm of Megaton Musashi and where to focus on. Megaton Musashi special making. People living on Earth never recognize that they are now destroyed by the Earth and they're living after the Earth destroyed by the aliens, which is very painful. But the prognostics starts to get some understanding. They start noticing that there's something wrong with the Earth. So they're very definite to retake the Earth. And throughout the program, you feel that nostalgia when you've been enjoying the program when I was young, but then it turned out to be different. It's really an alien and how they relate to human beings, and there's a very sensitive area too. However, the battle itself is very dynamic. Regarding Musashi, overall speaking, the nostalgic factors are all around, and the robotics is a very specific thing for us in our generation too. So what we have opted out is a robot rather that comes into an older programs. It's a heroism of robots that was always a common. Robot is something strong, or else if the robot is there, maybe the condition will overturn. So those are the features of the good old robots. And this program title is not just about old things, the robotic good and old, but then it's a mixture of something new and soft and flexible. And so it's about school culture as well. And by mixing these different two characters, I thought something new will be explained. And so robot is about ultra unsurrealistic, so unrealistic, surrealistic. And then, so within one program piece, you see realistic and surrealism. And there's going to be a very interesting gap. And it's something like mixing something hot and cold, and you feel the acceleration. And that's one of the big appeal of the whole program. And through this title, let us go through each of the characters and let's ask the people who have been acting as a voice actor for these characters. First of all, I thought I was playing for and acting for a very cute girl, but then I found out that these girls was actually really straightforward. She was straightforward in speech too. I myself is not that active, and I struggle sometimes to make my decision. Therefore, the act that I played for was a girl who can start moving without thinking. For me, I was acting for an unsociable girl, but then that unsociability comes from her justice, and feeling for the others were showing her strength. And it was all about rivalry. So people or the girls seem to be very, very polarized in character. But then when these two people come together, there's great chemistry. It's just like a play. So the girls are a good rival, and then if they go well, I believe that they become great friends. Looking at one sense, the character design is a very cool, and he has a very beautiful face. But then when the story turns out, he seems to be very mysterious and he seems to be full of secrecy. However, little by little, then he starts bringing out a lot of different dimensions of him. He loves cats. And the aspect that he is loving a cat is really a gap, and it's really appealing. And so I think the people who are looking at him has different impression on him. For his nature, he's an otaku, he's a geek about robotics. So he focuses pinpointed like in whatever he is interested in, but for otherwise, he does not think about anything. He is not hinged to any other things other than what he loves. But then, because he focuses on one thing, he is very good at looking at essence. He understands the intrinsic part of the problem. So the remainder people living on Earth, they really have to do something in order to make things turn out better for the Earth. Therefore, there's no other options for them, and they have to make great efforts. They're not just selected, but they have to do. And looking at the condition, they cannot say in despair that they are failed. They have to win over this fight. Therefore, in order to guide them in a stability as a professional, it's not just like forcing the workers or the troops to do, but then she's like providing a good piece of advice and guidance. And when I was reading the book, I found out that this person was bullied, and his hairdo is an afro style, so it's really rare that he has afro hair, but then he was bullied. But then I just found out that he was very peculiar, has special talents. That was why people focused him and bullied him. He knows not about the softness or the good part of the human beings, but then he started out to open up his character, which was impressive. When I was playing and dubbing with words, Hino-san, the producer, told me that I should not give a voice like in a very central hero or heroine. And I was thinking what he really meant. I had to try out to voice out a voice, which was like a very ordinary high school girl. But then I wanted to become a familiar figure, a character very near to the spectator. So I myself has been acting and dubbing by what is going to be happening next. And so for the characters, I think I was very close to the viewers. The name of the character is called Ibushigin, and Ibushigin is a very experienced name. So just following his name, he's like a leader, he's like the master of the whole troop. And so for me, I think I felt reality because this character was not that far from me. The role for me was Asuna Kanzaki. And so rather than a beautiful girl within the whole class, whole year, she is told by everybody that she's a very beautiful person, but then she's not that haughty, and she has a long, good scholastic result. And Ashim is one of the alien trope, and she comes from a very authentic girl from the alien family. So she's a little bit different from the others. So at first, I was thinking that Jun-chan was a heroine, not Arshim. So this girl Arshim was not coming over to the earth by her own intention. So she was not progressive to come over to earth. So that is why I thought Arshim was not the heroine. But then I was told afterwards that Arshim is the de facto heroine. She is an alien, but she is a heroine, Ashim. So how was she born? The character Ashim, when I created her in the plot, she was not existing. But then when I was creating the story, I didn't just want to be making a revenge story. I wanted all the young people to give out a lot of conundrums, and I wanted to see the youngsters try to solve problems. So Ashim is not a human being, she's an alien, but then she is like enemy, but then she is also like a comrade because she is an alien, but she starts loving the human being. So that was an interesting heroine.
Rogue has a sturdy body, and robots, rogues really have rugged bodies, and more rugged they are, more exhilarating it feels. It must be really exhilarating if I can operate the robot. It is a robot with 4 limbs, and the design is also slimmer and more stylish compared with other robots. If this appears in anime and game, how it moves, it's full of speed. It's a very speedy battle that you can enjoy, and that is going to look fantastic in the graphics, and I really look forward to look at the footage. This robot is really tough, and you can't imagine that actually a girl is driving it. You would imagine that a tough guy is driving this robot, so it's kind of a surprise. But Momoka and Jun, I think it's a will-fit robot for them because they are very strong, they are very strong-minded, have strong wills. And of course, I won't have any opportunities to drive such a robot, and also using a lot of effects that are really exciting. And June has a really dramatic, theatrical character, and that's well reflected in her role. Reflected in the weapons, shooting a lot of from the guns. So they are strong, they are young and energetic, and they just go head to head with difficult situations, and I really like them. So 06 really shows his strong will. There's a gun on his back as a special move. And I think it's extremely unique. It's really strong. Even if his arm is cut off, it still goes on. Like he's very much Ibushigin himself. I really like this robot. Dragster's Mecha is overwhelmingly strong and something really, really scary. That's the image I have for it, and the youngsters are trying to confront the dragsters. They do not want to give up against something that is stronger than them. I want to encourage them, want to let them be brave and to stand against the dragsters. And there are really strong enemies that are bigger than dragsters. And the youngsters change tactics to stand against those enemies. And I really want that to encourage the people who watch the games. So the relationship among the three characters is quite interesting. Teru and Yamato, and Ryugo and Yamato, they have different relationships. So Teru and Ryugo's relationship is also different. It's kind of a triangular relationship and is well balanced. So what kind of issues they will be facing and what kind of a conversation they have to solve these problems, I think that is one attention point for this work. And the positioning of the voice actors, they're also very, very close to the roles, and you can feel the same kind of relationship among the three voice actors. It's not acting anymore. They are the characters themselves. They're the typecast for their roles. And I think the actors themselves, they totally nail the characters and they have built a relationship among themselves. When I look at their conversations in the studio, I really feel that. So we have voice characters. They're going to have a crosstalk about the work and the characters. When you look at the title, Megaton Musashi, you feel the power, right? And you would think it has a very simple, straightforward story, but it turns out to be something more complicated with different intentions. So it doesn't have a single answer. That's not the style of this work. It is contemporary in that sense because it embraces lots of values. So at first, I was surprised at this realization, and I thought that this is very new. So for example, Arsham, I think she fits your description. There is no clear border between good and evil. She's kind of something in between. So as you said, diversity and a variety of perspectives are incorporated in this work. Well, in a glass, you see a strong enemy, and the children, the kids are fighting against them dramatically. It's a really dazzling work. I really look forward to how the stories unfold going forward, because there are a lot of things to come, right? And at this point of time, the true past is going to be reviewed at some point, and I think that will change your perspective. Because 90% of the Earth has been already invaded, and the protagonists are striking back at the beginning of the story, and that's so exciting. The town, the city, is a fictive world, but it is also an ideal world where it makes you feel nostalgic. The beauty of the Earth has been packed in that space. It's probably the dream of the director. It's a world that he's dreaming of. Recent robots tend to be stylish and slim, but these robots are really tough and rugged, and they look dirty, and the dirtier they are, the cooler they are. That's the characteristic of this work, and that's the beautiful points of these robots. And it's a 2D animation combined with 3D. So to avoid feeling strange, there were a lot of ideas incorporated to make the whole thing has an integrity. So I also worked very hard to build my character. So I played Yamato. I think he is a core of the work. He's like the engine of the work. And I think Ryugo is like an accelerator, and Teru is like a brake to, to stop everything moving on impulse. So each one has a different role. It's really interesting to play the role. So Yamato and Ryugo, they knew each other for a long time. And personally, I think they have a good relationship, relatively good relationship. They do quibble with each other, but they shush each other. They call each other assholes, but at critical junctures, they support each other. So I think they have something that is not trust, but something important between the two. And I think Teru actually drives things forward. He appeared, looks like as if he knows everything. The two youngsters living in the world, they realize that world is not real. So Teru is someone who leads them into a different world. So he has something different than Ryugo and Yamato. And I think Teru in the very beginning, he just looks like a jerk, and he looks like, I'm telling you things that you guys don't know. He's totally a smarty pants. So that's the impression I had. But the three characters playing a central role in the story and show a complicated relationship, which is very interesting, and how they interact with each other also changes with time. But he has a very clear position, and at first Teru appeared as someone who invites the other two into the battles. But then once they started to fight together, they listen to each other, they support each other, they follow each other. So when you realize that they are well balanced, the relationship is very interesting and well balanced. And because each one has a different role, and the time deepens their relationship, brings it to a further stage. It's very well made. So of course everything is interesting and worth seeing in this world, and the BGM, the musics are also very good. And it's totally in line with the worldview of the work. And in the first story, there are some tactics and the strategies being played, and the music was really great. And I think it has become something that really showcases the interesting parts of the anime Musashi, Megaton Musashi. And towards the end of the story, if I have the opportunity to look at this footage again, I think I will be able to realize more intentions and something that I didn't realize when I watched it for the first time. So it's a really, really deep story. Yeah, so I really hope that you can enjoy this till the end.
So now let us introduce the highlights of Megaton Musashi at the very end. Akutagawa is a weak existence, and he has a very strong impact visually, and we don't know who he is, what he is, but then he comes into the very central role within the story later on. He's a very serious, important person, and then it comes into an unprecedented way of unfolding of the story, and then that will bring the viewers understand what he is. For me, I'm not thinking so much that it is a love romance, but then for Saika, when we're talking about her, there's one factor that we cannot drop from her. The love romance is part of her character as well. Why is it that she is in this position? Is probably what the viewers will be questioning. Therefore, I would like to play her role very concretely. I think when you just view Musashi, you'll understand its passion, it's enthusiastic, and then you will feel the exhilaration, you'll be invigorated. That's one of the objects of this art piece. Everybody these days, contemporary people, are having a lot of struggles. They are frustrated. So then when they go through Musashi, then anything that Musashi is drawing out could be invigorating the spectators, the viewers. And those who enjoyed Musashi, they come into a feeling that they would like to start working with vigor once again in lively way. Then that will make my day. So how was it? From October 1, Megaton Musashi will be viewed. So I would like everybody to feel the points that was highlighted. These days, drama is providing some questions to the world these days about this piece. It's not just about focusing on the question that we feel right now. We're trying to give out solutions to everybody. And people looking at some big issues solved, I would like people to be very fresh in mind. So it's not a meticulous story, but then it's like having a big hit, a big bat, and a big ball flying. And then I would like the viewers to become very lively.
Right, so how was the video? Now you see the charm of the anime. Next, we would like to talk about the system of the game. The next section is by Hanamori-san, who played Kitane-chan, the operator, and Fujikawa Q, to talk about the Megaton Musashi game system. And with this video, the operator Kitane Himari was played by Hanamori Miyori, and Fujikawa Q, who's from the editorial department of Famitsu. They're going to talk about Megaton Musashi's game, and customization and charm of the battle are going to be presented in this video. So please enjoy.
We're going.
お楽しみはこれからだって。最強の機体が最強の俺にぴったりじゃねえか。メガトンパンチ！エクスブレイク！吸い潰してやんよ！相変わらずご利用しだな、ヤマト。
Operator Kitane is played by Hanamori Yumiri, and Fujikawa Q is going to be thoroughly talking about Musashi. And Fujikawa Q from Famitsushin, and this is Hanamori Yumiri from Kitane Himari. And let us talk and advise about the game systems for Megaton Musashi. And yes, I'm now dubbing, but then I don't know about the game at all. Therefore, I would love Fujikawa-san to be making advices for the system. Without ado, Musashi can be started from the customization. So first of all, you just choose a pilot selection, and then you can become a pilot. And according to who you're going to be having a different experience. And so then you can go to the aircraft, and aircraft has various functions. You can go up in the air or soar down or plummet. And this is the navigation Haruka. And this Haruka is a person from the navigation, and I am dubbing her voice as well. And she's like an idol, and she's a really fresh girl. And during her combat, when you want to be invigorated, I think you definitely want to meet Haruka. And next is another customization. And there's a lot. And the mobility changes too. The arm and body and the neck, you can just freely customize yourself according to your taste. And you can keep on going for your customization. And there's so much customization, and there's so much. And when you're just adhesing your legs and arms, you just love that feeling. You just keep on selecting, and then adhese, and then connect. And that's the fun part of the game. Wow. So there's a lot of parts. Yes. And it's called, so it's one of the mission clear, and you go on, and it's a part of the game. It's called Huck Slash methodology. Oh, yes, I should do that. And you can't stop doing that. And it's like a toy. It's a very gigantic robot, but then by changing your parts, it's very fun. Makes you feel you're handling a toy. And you just comes to the mind that the LVX. It's so fun. And there's 4 types of weapons. It's about the very near weapon and the shooting weapons. And you can have these weapons used by 3. Oh, so you can utilize various combinations. So let us go through the generic thing. This is great sword. This is very big one. And then this is a very great sword. And then there's the sword and shield. And right now he's already having a machine gun, but there's a knuckle too. And those are the short-turn hand weapon. And then there's machine guns. Oh, I love that machine guns. But then you might be starting losing the bullets. It's a lot of things to do. There's bazooka. Whoa, bazooka. And further on, there's another different phases, and this is now looking at LVDX feeling. So you can just select a very big one or a very smaller one. So this is a motherboard, and upon the motherboard, this is called gaming PG, and the fan, the heat is something that the players are really mindful about. And for this one, this is going to be a weapon, or you're going to be gaining a status, which is going to be definitely a stronger one. And me, I want to just device over, combine, and I want to combine a bigger one, and the bigger one combined by the very small one. And I was very loving that way for the LVX era. But from here on, I think I'm going to be taking time. So I think that's going to become my new hobby. I like speed, and I like to work on very near weapons, and that's some kind of a defense that I wanted to do. I wanted to have a close combat. Yes, so I wanted to combat. Oh, now it's about the customization externally. Oh, you can make yourself shiny. So yes, it's reflecting, it's glittering, it's very shiny. And what it is related to the Raptors fight, I don't know, but you can just make yourself glitter. And now you can make yourself matte too. And oh, maybe you can just select some parts to make one glitter shiny, but the other one's matte. And for metallic, you can change that too. Yes, that's impressive. So, what are these figures? I don't know, but then you can just put in some impression into the numbers too. Maybe it can be your level of heat and level of stronger feeling, and you can change the sides too. The vertical location, vertical size can be options too. And there's angle differences too that you can just choose. So it's just like the car helm. And if you're creating some plastic models, maybe you will understand. Well, yes, that's the one that you can create the designs. And you would like to be feared by the aliens. Yes, I'll do it secretly. So those are what we can do for the customization. And now, let us go into the mission. It's very fun, and I would like to move it. So it's real combat. We're creating this for the real combat. Oh, there's some people that does never come out from the bunker because they have so much time making the combinations. And Musashi itself is very big. It's colossal. Now we're going into the real battle. So at maximum, this is a multiplayer 3-person play that we can play with and enjoy. So right now we're under the preparation. So through the online, you can battle. And the machine that you just customize is coming down from the sky. And this is Megaton level. And the sandstorm is something that you saw when the robot landed. Right now we're looking at the robot's action. Look at that, the director. And these robots are making a terraforming, making holes in the earth, and we can't accept them. We can't tolerate them. And the earth is now invaded so much, they're harmed so much. And robot is trying to defend another robot. Musashi has 2 real swords. And when we talk about Musashi, there is the swords master who used to be able to maneuver 2 swords at a time. So Musashi is following that name. And it's so cool. You see the sparks out? And by navigation, we heard Haruka's voice. And so by that, Haruka is supporting the fighting, combating pilot. And when I'm making my speech, I sound to be so loud voice. And you can just change your direction. And you can change that intuitively. And you can just switch your movement. So you can go. So if you're done with all your enemies, then you can go into the next level. And you can enjoy the voice too, and you're immersed. And the music playing is just the same with the programs. Go. And that's a Ryusei kick.
You can cut in and use your special move. It's, the kabuki special move, kabuki function, the hanagata of kabuki. Play. So yeah, you can also use the special move. There are 4 sets and a Megaton punch. Here we go. You attack after you pull the enemy over. That's fun. So you eradicate the tractors and you can free the areas up, then you can move on to the next stage. So you level up and while you kill more enemies. It's really fun. Everything is to take the Earth back. Every strike is for that purpose. It's fun. Maybe I shouldn't say that because it's such a noble cause. But the stamina, the capability are different. And you can also level up your status. So there are a lot of room for you to play around. Oh, this looks so amazing. Oh, that feels so exhilarating. Megaton punch again. Feels so fun. And also there are a lot of types of different enemies. Like something look like insects. Okay, now we're moving on to the next stage. Oh, there is something gigantic. It's a fusion enemy. The unit is dissolved and reorganized and becomes something gigantic. Well, it's a Megaton level, but that's something even bigger. So you will have a field with you in the center. This is something quite important. It enhances your defense capability and your offense capability. Do you like that? Sorry, it decreases your defense capability and increases your offense capability. I really love that because it's a multiplayer. So that was quite huge bump. There's also a role play mode. So tank has a role to track all the attacks to defend their comrades. And there's also an effect when you can put everybody in the field. And there's also a healer. So the enemy has been destroyed and the Earth has been protected. But another one disappeared. Overwhelmingly, the enemies are strong. Unfortunately, the tractors are extremely strong. But the human being, the mankind, is not giving up. And it's a giant wasp. So these 3 characters, it is very important to cooperate in roleplay. So it's not only about close combat, you also have to build strategies and converse with each other. Like in the animation, the characters give instructions to each other. So that is also reflected in this game. This is the weapon that can only be used here. This is Muramasa. It's going to be cut into half, the enemy. It's huge, it's dazzling. When you play a multiplayer, when you use the kabuki function, your screen is going to be spectacular. Look spectacular. Maybe you can use it in the beginning and you wait till the gauge to fall and you use it again. That must be really fun. You have to give everything out in order to protect the earth. That must be fun. Or you can play slowly and steadily. The attack range is quite wide, so the enemy, I mean, so you have to avoid the attacks in a smart way and strike back. So it's going to be very busy. Maybe I can have the strongest healer ever in my team, and then I just can focus on attacking. I think your idea is very close to Yamato himself. You know, when you strike the enemies, when you attack the enemies, because these enemies took the earth away from you, so you really, really hate them. It is a game, but I can identify myself with those kids who are trying to protect the earth. And you can, the cockpit perspective is also very interesting. Sometimes the parts are broken and the cockpit can repair the parts. Here again, the function, Muramasa. I think the attack capability is totally different depending on the pilot. Yamato is so cool. So you can do it up to 3 times. Okay, so I shouldn't use this function in the beginning. Or you can divide the roles among the 3 characters. Oh, we destroy the enemy. Items. What kind of items are there? Oh, you want reward, of course. Well done. You know, your voice is saying that please go back after you finish your mission. It's not about items. Congratulations for your victory. This looks so fun. This looks amazing. Yeah, and you can also get a lot of experience. And here are the items that you want. So you can get a lot of parts. Hack and slash. You open it. I really like opening up and to see what kind of parts and items I got. So use those. You can use those parts to customize your robot further. And then there's something called legendary level items that are really, really rare. So you can become a legend yourself. So how do you like it? It looks so fun. It looks there's a lot of room to play. And I saw this for the first time, and it's going to be released on 11th of November. So it's coming around the corner. Stay tuned and thank you for watching the video. So it has been almost 50 minutes. This is the Megaton Lab in TGS 2021. It's almost time for us to say goodbye. So in the program, we introduced the TV anime Megaton Musashi. Right after this program at 10 p.m. at Tokyo MX and at half past midnight at the BS Fuji, we're going to air the anime. So please watch that. And after the TV air at Level 5's YouTube channel, the anime is going to be available on YouTube forever. So if you cannot watch the TV, please check out the YouTube channel. Then the game Megaton Musashi is going to be released on November the 11th, and you can have pre-order for the package version, and you can get special weapons and decals. So please check it out and do your pre-order. Thank you very much for watching to the end for this program. This was the Megaton Lab in TGS 2021. Thank you and goodbye.
レベル5の番組をお送りいたしました。この後22時よりセガ